The little baby farted in public, not expecting to poop out a necklace, and coincidentally, the woman's boss picked it up. Unaware of the truth, the boss thought the necklace was a new design by the woman, so he didn't hold her accountable for bringing her baby to work. Instead, he publicly announced her promotion and a raise. The woman was overjoyed the moment she heard this, but after she got home, she kept staring at the baby in bed, feeling more and more suspicious. She couldn't figure out how the necklace came out of him, but before the woman could react, the landlord from the shared apartment next door came over. He complained that the baby's crying was too loud, disturbing his music composition. He said he was going to kick the mother and baby out. The woman quickly apologized, promising it wouldn't happen again. After the landlord left, the baby seemed to sense his mother's hardship and started drinking milk like crazy. Then, under the woman's shocked gaze, the baby pooped out a sheet of music. At that time, the landlord was stuck in a creative block. He heard the baby crying again. Before he could go cause trouble again, the woman handed him the sheet music. When the landlord saw the music clearly, he was stunned. He never expected it to be a masterpiece. He got so excited, he played it on the spot. After finishing, he kept admiring the sheet, still not satisfied. But the strange thing was, he smelled something odd on it. At that moment, the woman had no idea how serious things were. When she walked into the living room, she was shocked. She found her just 3-month-old baby watching cartoons on the couch. Only then did the woman realize this baby was no ordinary child. Actually, the baby wasn't her biological child. She had picked him up on the street earlier that morning. But what the woman didn't know was, the baby was actually God reincarnated. He could fulfill people's wishes. When the woman saw the baby could poop out necklaces and sheet music, she figured he could probably poop out money too. So she bribed him with a piece of bread. Because her mother was gravely ill and urgently needed money for treatment, that's why she did what she did. Just when she was happily waiting for the baby to poop out money, an overwhelming stench suddenly filled the air. It knocked her out instantly. Seeing the baby didn't poop out money, the woman thought maybe he had digestive issues, so she took him to see a doctor. Under the doctor's pressing questions, the woman hesitantly told him about the baby pooping out a necklace and sheet music. This completely shocked the doctor. He thought the woman had mental problems, so he referred her to a psychiatric clinic. But the woman refused to accept that. After all, she paid a lot to see this specialist. So after her repeated begging, the doctor agreed to let her prove herself. However, after the baby finished his milk, there was no reaction at all. The woman thought he wasn't full yet, so she fed him a cookie and a banana. Finally, the baby reacted. But to their surprise, the baby pooped out 5 pounds of poop. This scene made the doctor furious. He insisted on sending the woman to a psychiatric hospital. When the woman refused to leave, the doctor said if what she said was true, he would give her $1 million. Before the woman could even respond, she got a call from the hospital. They informed her that her mother was in critical condition. Thinking about how urgently she needed money, she immediately asked if the doctor's offer still stood. But before the doctor could answer, she got a call from her boss. He told her that her design proposal had been approved, so the woman hurried to the company. That way, the bonus from her design fee plus the doctor's $1 million would be enough to treat her mother. But what the woman didn't know was, her talent had sparked jealousy in her supervisor. At that moment, the supervisor was getting ready to steal the woman's credit during the project meeting. The meeting started soon. Just as the boss was about to sign the contract with the client, the supervisor stepped in to stop him. She bluntly said the woman was just a low-level employee, and her design proposal didn't deserve to be on the table. But the boss didn't agree. After all, the woman's design had his approval. The supervisor's move was clearly disrespecting him. He immediately decided to fire the supervisor. Unexpectedly, the client stopped him. Since the supervisor brought it up, they suggested looking at her work. When the supervisor opened her design, the woman was stunned. She couldn't believe the supervisor was so shameless, not only stealing her design, but also upgrading it on top of her original. But the supervisor didn't care what the woman said. She claimed her design had more depth than the woman's. Even the boss wasn't impressed by the supervisor's work. But what they didn't know was, the supervisor had already colluded with the client. This time, the supervisor was determined to be the project lead. She was set on winning, but the boss didn't agree. He thought the client had no taste at all. He decided to reject the partnership right away. The client turned to leave. Unexpectedly, the top boss from the client side arrived just in time. When the woman saw the man's face clearly, she was stunned to realize that the client company's CEO was actually her landlord. The woman realized her chance had come. She brought both designs and showed them to the CEO. At that moment, the CEO's assistant was still explaining that the supervisor's design better aligned with their partnership goals. He even took the opportunity to mock the woman. When the CEO heard from the woman's boss that his own subordinate had colluded with someone else, betraying him, he immediately made up his mind who to work with. Once he confirmed which design belonged to whom, the CEO publicly announced that he had chosen the woman's design. The woman was overwhelmed with emotion when she heard that. She decided that after going home, she would properly thank her landlord, the CEO. But before she could say anything, she suddenly remembered she had left the baby at the hospital. She said it out loud and rushed off to pick him up, but as soon as she opened the door, she saw a stranger. Seeing this, the CEO immediately scolded the man, but it turned out the stranger was actually the doctor from the hospital.